Hello, my name is Jenny Beckholt. Kathy Hayes and I oversee accounts payable in the finance department. Kathy and I have split the handling of accounts alphabetically, with Kathy handling vendors A through L and I handle vendors M through Z and all travel requests. In this orientation, we will discuss guidelines for submitting invoices and direct pays, travel per diems, and travel expense reimbursements. Here are the guidelines for submitting invoices. Send invoices with vendor names A through L to Kathy Hayes and M through Z to Jenny Beckholt. If an order has more than one invoice, approve the invoices as they come in and don't hold any invoices. We can make partial payments on a PO. If you receive an order but have not received the invoice, call the vendor to fax or email you one. If an invoice exceeds the PO, contact the vendor and have them re-invoice to match the PO or send you a credit for the overage. If the vendor calls your school for a price increase, have them contact purchasing so the PO can be modified before the items are shipped and invoiced. Statements cannot be used for approval and payment. Please request an invoice from the vendor. Payment request forms are only to be used when paying for an event, for example, conferences or postage, when no invoice is provided. Keep in mind, if all the information on a payment request form is not complete, for example, approval signatures or backup information, the payment will be delayed and the payment request form returned to you. Jenny does all the travel, so send travel advance request and travel expense reimbursement forms A to Z to Jenny. Any requests for payment of conferences need to have the conference information attached. Receipts are required for all expenses when traveling, including meals, taxi, shuttle, airport parking, etc. Receipts must show details of what was purchased. Alcoholic beverages are not reimbursable and must not be on the same receipt as the meal. If they are on the same receipt, no reimbursement will be made for anything on that receipt. When requesting actuals, this is only for hotel costs, not meals. The board can approve an amount beyond what the state statutes allow for the cost of lodging. Per diem is a set amount that you can receive for the cost of the hotel and meals. For example, an overnight stay in Socorro, the maximum allowable per diem amount would be $85 to cover meals and lodging. For an out-of-state trip, the maximum allowable rate would be $115 to cover meals and lodging. In cases where the standard per diem amount is insufficient to cover your expenses, you would request actuals. This means you can request the actual cost of the hotel plus the cost of meals. For more information on the per diem rates, refer to your accounts payable and travel guidelines or contact Jenny at the district office. When driving a personal vehicle, mileage is reimbursed at the current allowable rate. If driving to a conference, for example, mileage will be reimbursed up to the amount of the cost of an airline ticket that could have been purchased in advance. Travel expense reimbursement form must be turned into finance within 5 working days of return from travel when a travel advance was received. This is per state statutes. If no travel advance was given, the travel expense reimbursement form must be turned into Jenny within 30 days. Any questions about travel, per diem amounts, mileage, advances, etc., please call Jenny at extension 51116 or email me at jbeckholt@rrps.net. Here are just a few items to keep in mind. Checks will continue to be run every Thursday. Invoices must be in AP by Tuesday at 2 o'clock in order to be included in that Thursday's check run. The following forms are available on RioNet on the Finance Department page in the Forms and Documents area. Mileage reimbursement, payment request, travel expense voucher, and out-of-town travel authorization. Email requests for PO modifications and closures to the purchasing specialist. If purchasing returns a PO to you, don't fax and then mail it. This can result in a double shipment and double invoicing. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Jenny or Kathy by email or phone.